Alright guys, I am here. Let me just get set up here. How you guys doing today? Hope you guys are doing well. Thanks for coming back, everyone. There's a lot of people here again, which is awesome. Hope you guys are well. What's up, Fox? Hey, Sirs. What's up, Hannah, Jeffrey? Yo, what up, Nick? What's up, Nicole? Vivian, nice to see you. What's up, Shadow? Yo, there's lots of you guys here. Thanks for coming, everyone, and hello to everyone. It's good to see you guys. Thank you guys for coming. So how has your week been, guys? It's been a bit crazy for me. How about you guys? Oh, by the way, do any of you guys live in Texas? Because I heard that there was like a shooting or something in Texas this morning, yeah? Hope you guys are doing okay if you're in Texas. Everyone's doing good? That's good. Stale, you're in Texas? Yeah, it's awful, isn't it, Mary? Yeah, I know. Your Urban Cryo, thank you so much for the $2. Appreciate it. Always watch for the videos. Thank you so much.
We always watch your videos.
So does anybody have any updates on the shooting? Do you know what's happened? Because like literally it's morning here, so I got up and checked my phone and just kind of was getting set up and everything, and I haven't really kept up with it. So what's going on, man? Anyone give me a quick update? 10? You're kidding. No way. Oh man, that's heartbreaking. Two people involved, 2 in custody. He was 17. Oh man. That's heartbreaking, man. Oh, this world, man. I swear. This world. There's too much of this stuff, man. 17-year-old kid. 10 people caught. Wow. Was in an art class. Yeah, so... Oh, man. Yeah, it's fucked up. I agree, Xena. Totally. Wow, that's a heavy way to start the morning, guys. Man. All the people in Texas, yeah, stay safe, eh? And I hope, I sure hope that none of your family were involved or anything, because that's just heartbreaking. Yeah, wow. So today, guys, hopefully I can help out a little bit with chilling you guys out in Texas and helping you guys relax a little bit after a crazy day like today. I did manage to get news stories ready, guys. So we're actually going to be listening to news stories again. I worked my ass off for you guys. I worked my ass off all week to make it happen, man. And yeah, so we're going to listen to some stories that you guys have never heard of before. A lot of people are asking how I am. I had a really massive couple of weeks, guys. So let me tell you guys a story before we start, alright? So last week, so obviously last stream I told you guys my wife is pregnant, we're having a baby, and she's very close now. And so last week we thought her waters broke, so we had to rush up to the hospital in the middle of the night. And we were there till like 5 o'clock in the morning. And then like 2 days later, my daughter woke up with... she said she had a stiff neck and she had a headache and she was vomiting, and we thought, oh shit, this could be meningitis or something. And so, oh, thanks for all the congrats, guys. And we thought, oh shit, it might be meningitis. So we rushed her up to the hospital, and luckily it wasn't, but man, it was really scary. And so we were there till like 5 o'clock again, and then she's been sick like the last kind of week and a half, so I've been daddy daycare for like the last week and a half, helping her out and stuff. And Yeah, and then this week, I had to like do a whole bunch of like shopping and cleaning the house and getting ready and everything, and it's been such a hectic 2 weeks, man. I've barely had a wink of sleep. It's been crazy. But last night I had the best night's sleep in a long time, man. Oh, it was so good. So I'm feeling good today. But man, last couple of weeks have been crazy, and that's why I almost didn't get the new stories ready for today. But I pushed through for you guys. Got them done. Update on Corpsey. Yeah, actually, after last stream, because you guys were wondering what was going on, I tried to contact him and just see how he was doing, but I haven't heard anything, so, man, I don't know. I hope he's doing alright, though. Hope he's doing okay. Yo, what up, Top Notch? Nice to meet you, too. Thank you. You had no sleep at all, Cool Cat? Well, Cool Cat's one of the mods, guys. She never sleeps, man. She never sleeps. Alright, so what do you guys reckon? Should we get started? I'm going to do the voting system again today, guys, because I found that really helpful. It would be awesome if you guys could vote. I'll try the cards again on the video. If that doesn't work, though, we'll go back to straw poll, and I'll just put links in the chat, so you guys should be able to vote either way. And that'll be helpful for me. So this week there's lots of little stories. There was a lot of really great little short stories that I found, and I just threw them all together into like a big compilation video. And so yeah, I hope you guys like it. You guys get early access because you're here. And let's get into it. What's up, DJ? Let me just get set up here, guys. Alright. Let me just turn off voice to text for donations and stuff quickly first, guys, just to make sure that we don't get that speech stuff as we're listening. And I'll turn it back on at the other side of it after we've listened, yeah? Alright, there we go. Cool. Alright, let me turn this off, and we're gonna get started, guys. Alright. Alright, here we go, guys. Is everyone ready? Everyone comfy? Got your water, your coffee, your wine, whatever it is. Got something to eat. Everyone's ready. Gonna give you 5 more seconds just to make sure you're all comfy. Yeah, so William, I am into gaming. I've got to ask you guys a question a little bit later on about that, so remind me. Shut up and kiss me. Oh, man. All right, everyone's ready. Okay, let's do it. So, just so you guys know, I'm going to go turn my mic off while we're while we're listening to stories. In between stories, I'll turn it back on, okay? So that we can keep it nice and clean. A few years ago, some random guy contacted me on Instagram. The guy was nice enough, and eventually he sent me his number. We started talking on the phone, but from the get-go, he seemed a little off. He started getting angry if I didn't pick up the phone, and eventually I just blocked him. But suddenly, I'd be getting calls from a different number, and it was always him. I blocked around 4 numbers before the calls just finally stopped. Then, a few months later, he messaged me on Instagram from a new account. In the message, he basically stated that either I send him nude images of myself with slut written all over my body, or he would send my nudes to my family, work and friends. I didn't understand what he meant by him saying that he'd send my nudes, because I knew that he didn't have any of me. So I ignored the message, but an hour later, he sent me an image. He'd found a girl who looked very similar to me, actually. And honestly,
it was just because I knew that I never took any pictures that the woman was definitely not me. Otherwise, she was the spitting image. I reverse image searched the photo and found the actual woman in the pictures, but still, I was obviously pretty scared. He could send out this woman's image and say it was me, and while I could message everyone and let them know that it wasn't, I'm 100% sure that not everyone would believe me, and think that I'm covering up the fact that I sent images to strangers online. My family is actually pretty conservative at best, so this was really getting to me. I go into this man's profile, and I remember a cold sweat coming over me as I saw that the people he followed were all the people that I follow, and basically everyone I know. I didn't know what to do except message the guy back with a threat to go to the police. He deleted the messages that he sent me, and I deleted my Instagram account and instead began using my personal account, which is now set to private. On my account, I also blocked the man's profile, and I just hope that he never finds me again. The internet can be a dangerous place, and I still have no idea how he got all the information of my friends and family.
Alright guys, so that first story, I wanted to get your opinion on it actually, because, okay, it's not like, I don't think that that story was super, super creepy, which is why I put it first, but I thought it was creepy enough to include because, the guy somehow got this information of this girl, right? And, I don't know, do you guys know how someone would go about doing something like that? Because I have no idea how that would even happen. It's weird how he got all of, not just her information, but all of her friends and, like, family and extended people. Like, was it just a matter of him going in through pictures and, like, kind of navigating and trying to find people? Because wouldn't that take a lot of effort too? So the guy was obviously really keen on it. Looked her up. Other social media. True. Although from the nature of the story, I got the feeling like she may not have had other social media, or I'm not too sure. Maybe she did. It's actually really easy. Okay. Some people put their entire life on Facebook page. Yeah, that's true. All right, so I'm going to try this card system again, guys. See if it works this time. So it's a poll. It's story 1, and it's from 1 to 5. 1 being the story wasn't that creepy, and 5 being one of the creepiest stories you've ever heard. Let me know what you guys think. Hopefully it'll work this time. So a little card should appear up in the top right hand corner, and you should be able to vote. I'm gonna try and vote too. See if I don't want to Are you guys getting the card up in the top right hand corner? If not, I'll put the straw poll in. Okay, yeah. It's being stupid again. Alright, I think we just use straw poll. Straw poll's way better. It actually works. Alright, let me just quickly get this set up. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Create poll. Okay. Here is the link. You should be able to vote now. And then I'll show you guys the results too. So the link will be in chat, guys, if you want to vote there. Should be in chat. Yeah, I'll give you guys live feed. Live feed. So a lot of you guys are voting 1. Like, it wasn't very scary. And I agree. It wasn't super creepy. I just thought it was creepy enough to include as like a first story. It's a good way to kind of like ease in. So just a quick shout out to Jenny DeVilla. Appreciate the $2. Thank you. Bring on the horror. We can take it. And Matt Hart, been with the Hive since day one. Your vids are on par with the best horror narrators, and your voice is the best by far. You got talent, man. Don't ever give up. Thank you so much, Matt. Appreciate that, bro. Appreciate that. It's words like that that keep me going, man. Honestly, it is. All right, so I would say that that's a hard 1 to kind of 1.5 from you guys. It was pretty creepy for, a very short kind of intro, but beyond that, it doesn't have that massive creep factor. So, all right, let's keep it going, guys. Let's keep it going.
This was quite a while ago, so please bear with me. I was a sophomore in high school, finishing up band practice, and it was in the afternoon, maybe 7:30, and me and my friends are talking for a bit. We always chatted a bit after practice to avoid the crowd of people in the band hall. Plus, it gave us a chance to unwind a bit. We see one of our friends, a freshman, talking to his dad and his little sister. Now, none of us had ever spoken to his dad before, but we had heard things and knew he was just a bit, shall we say, off. So that's why we didn't really question what happened next. My friend was chatting for quite a bit, and finally, the dad calls us over. Now, the guy my friend is talking to looks remarkably like him. Same hair, same skin tone, very similar mannerisms too, and the guy is pretty greasy looking, and he seems visibly uncomfortable and is obviously in a huge hurry to get out of there. He was shuffling about and won't keep eye contact. And he seems to be eyeing us up in a strange way. But again, he's our friend's dad, and we knew that he was pretty strange, and so we were not really thinking much of the whole situation. He talks about how he wants us, me and 3 of my friends, all trombonists, to play for him in a Cuban jazz ensemble he's putting together, apparently. We're all pretty big into jazz at this time, and he mentions how we'll all be getting paid for both practices and performances, and we're all very excited. He's really insistent on us leaving with him that moment to meet the rest of his bandmates, and me and my friends are all for it. Now, we haven't really been noticing this girl that was standing next to him this whole time. She's been really quiet this whole conversation, but she was very visibly uncomfortable with the whole situation. Our band director had noticed us by this time and walks on over. She was a very no-bullshit, hard-ass kind of person. She comes and asks, "Who's this guy?" And of course, I think she's mad because we've been taking our time and putting our stuff away, so I just respond, "Oh, he's our friend's dad, and he..." And right then, my friend cuts me off and says, "What? He's not my dad?" Now at this point, the man gets very irritated. Our director tells him that he needs to leave, and this is when I start noticing the little girl more. First of all, she looks nothing like this man. This is pure conjecture on my part, but her skin color, her eye color, hair color, none of them matched him. The man starts arguing with my director, saying how she can't talk to him like that, and he seems like he's about to punch our director, in fact. By this point, he's attracted some attention, and our 2 other directors are here as well. The little girl is grabbing him by the shirt, trying to keep him back. She's not crying, but her voice seems like she's about to. She's pleading for him to stop and asks him to please just go home. Now, this is the first time the girl spoke to me, and so this is when I first get a good look at her. And she was really, really thin, wearing a t-shirt and shorts, and is younger than us by maybe a couple of years. She also has some pretty obvious bruises, and, as mentioned above, looks nothing like her dad. Finally, it seems the man's given up, and he's attracted quite a crowd and he shuffles off. He doesn't really run to his car, but he goes off as fast as he can without actually running, tugging the little girl at his side. They call the cops, and the cops circle the area looking for him or his car, but there's no sign, and we never saw him again. After the incident, we spoke to our friend about it, and he mentioned how the little girl approached him first, and tried to get him to get into their car before the man finally got out of the car and started to talk to my friend himself. I'm still not too sure what was going on that day. I don't know what would have happened to us had we gotten in the car with him as planned, but it definitely psyched me out for a bit, and I had completely forgotten about the incident until I was browsing Reddit and stuff, and it all just came back to me. Finally, I'd like to add that we've since met the friend in question's dad, and they actually look remarkably similar, which is kind of a weird coincidence. Whatever happened that day, it still sits with me really uncomfortably.
Wow, so what do you guys think of that one? That one was definitely a little bit creepier. I thought that one was very creepy, actually. How brazen is the guy to actually go into the school and try and get these kids to go into his car with him? You know what's really creepy about that particular story, though? He had that little girl with him. I have no idea if that was his actual daughter or anything. It doesn't seem like it, and I mean, that's the indication that you get from the storyteller, that she doesn't look anything like him. So he could be just have kidnapped her, or who knows, maybe it's like a trafficking scheme or something like that, a human trafficking scheme. Very, very brazen, though, to go into a school and pretend that you're someone's father. Like, oh man. All right, I'm going to give you guys the vote, though. You guys tell me. What do you guys think? Let me just get it up here for you guys. All right, I'm going to put it in chat so you guys can vote. All right, so it's up in chat now, guys. A couple of you guys caught the little booty action in there. I don't want to. Okay, I'm going to let you guys vote, but I'll give you guys live feedback too, so you guys can see it. And while you guys are doing that, I'm just going to give a quick shout out to Oscar. Oscar, man, so generous. I did actually buy a coffee last week and a donut. Thank you, man. Appreciate your generosity so much, bro. It's really, really generous of you. And Too Much Fallout, Not Enough Boy. Thank you for the $5 in the super chat, man. Appreciate it. Thank you guys for the generosity. All right, so what are we looking at here, guys? What's everyone thinking? A lot of you guys are voting like 3s and 2s. Okay, yeah, I can see that. I mean, the fact that it did happen in a school kind of, I guess, negates the creepiness a little bit, because it's like, well, you know, it's in a school, there were teachers around, someone was probably going to pick up on it at some time. Like, still, pretty creepy, though. Alright, so I think that's a pretty hard, like, 2.5, 3 from you guys. I think I would vote around the same. I think I voted 4, though. Just because I think I found it a little bit more creepy, just because of how brazen the guy was. Really, like, headstrong kind of guy. Just went in and just went for it. So that was pretty creepy. All right, let's get to the next one. That's all right, Alexandra. It's all good. Just watching the videos is a massive support. Just being here every week, that's huge. So thank you so much for that. That's awesome. All right, guys, next story.
So, this happened about 3 or 4 years ago when I was on a holiday at the West Lake in Hangzhou in China. I live in Beijing for reference, and I do speak Chinese. My girlfriend and I, we had been walking around the lake for a couple of hours, and I needed to go to the toilet, so we were looking for a public bathroom. It's a pretty touristy area, so after another couple of minutes of walking, we finally found one. Inside the bathroom, there were 2 urinals on each wall, so and they came together in a kind of L shape. Nobody else was in there at the time, and I headed to one of the urinals closer to the corner, and as I was trying to pee, I saw somebody to my right in my peripheral vision. They were just stood in a way that it didn't feel right, so I turned my head, and it's this homeless guy. The dirty torn clothes, messy matted hair, dirt all over his hands and face, and he was just staring at my junk. I was obviously kind of taken aback, so I just said to him in Chinese, "What are you looking at?" And without moving his eyes away, he replied, "You." His answer really unsettled me a bit, and I just said, "Well, could you not, man?" Right after I said that, somebody else comes into the urinal on my left, and in that high-pitched voice that you use to mock people, he goes, well, could you not?" I look over at him, and it's another dirty, homeless-looking guy who also starts looking at me. I was really quite shaken at this point, and far too nervous to pee there, so I zipped up and fast-walked from the urinal to a cubicle where I locked the door. I tried to pee again, but I heard a sound. The locks were those kinds where there's a slit on the outside bit that you can open with a coin. I didn't think about that until I turned around and saw the first homeless guy just looking at me from outside the now open cubicle. I think he was just smiling, but that might have been just my mind making it creepier in retrospect. And well, peeing was definitely off the cards at this point. I actually ran out of the bathroom, found my girlfriend, and we power walked for about 15 minutes to get away from those creepy fuckers.
Oh, man. I found that one pretty creepy, if I'm being honest. Oh, man, that's so awkward, though. Imagine going into a bathroom and just, like, having some random guy just stare at your junk, man. Oh, that made my skin crawl a bit. Yeah, I think that one was creepy because it's almost like they were planning something. I don't know. And you know the other thing, right? It's a bathroom in China, you know, like, so strange things happen in China, you know, like it's not the safest place in the world. And yeah, I think the fact that there were two dudes that were kind of, and one guy just comes out of the shadows. It's strange. It's really weird and really unsettling. All right, I am going to let you guys vote, though. The vote is up in the chat now, guys. Oh, actually, I'm going to hide my vote so you guys can't see it. All right. Let's see what you guys think. A lot of you guys are 3s and 4s. A couple of you guys are 5s. Wow. It was a pretty unsettling story, I must admit. Yo, Blue Kingdom, baby gravy for the booty shaky. Appreciate the 2, man. Thank you. Corpse be dead. I hope not, man. I hope not. The guy's a legend. Such a nice guy. Here, go buy another coffee, Dad. $4 from Oscar. Thank you, bro. You're so generous, man. Appreciate it. Yeah, so a lot of you guys are like a 3 and a 4 kind of thing. I think I kind of agree with you guys because I would give it a 4 though, personally. I would give that one a 4. It just didn't sit well with me. You got these two guys, they unlock the door as well. Don't forget that as well, which shows a lot of I guess disregard for the person that's in there. They open the door with like a coin or something and they're just staring at him. And yeah, strange one, but I personally would give it a 4. What would you guys do, man? If I gotta ask this question, what would you guys do? You're in China, and you're in China, as Trump would say it, and you're just standing at a urinal, and some guy's next to you and is just staring at your junk, like, what would you guys do? I don't know what the hell I would do. I want to get your feedback, though. You just leave, pull pants up and walk the F out? Yeah. Just run? Yep. Kick their asses. I wouldn't do that. 2 guys against 1. Probably not going to win. Just nope out. Yeah, just run out. A couple of you guys have said you'd fight. You're fighting, remember, you're fighting in the middle of China. You're fighting 2 homeless guys. You don't have your pants up. So they got the jump on you. You'd step back. Oh, man. You'd pee on him. Oh, man, you guys. Start jacking off. Get out of here, man. Pepper spray, yeah. That's probably the smartest move. That's the smartest comment I think I've seen. Just pepper spray them. Oh, man. You guys. All right. Next story. Let's move on from that one.
So this happened when I was about 7 years old to my uncle. He's no longer with us, and I want to share his story. Growing up, I lived in northern Michigan on 5,000 acres of farm and ranch land that backed up into state land. Nothing but miles of forest and pastures could be seen, and needless to say, it pretty much made us tough, and it takes a lot to spook all of us now. But we're all avid hunters, fishermen, and outdoorsmen, and being the only girl, I was raised as a tomboy, and I'm still the same. My uncle, he went off to join the military, becoming a senior NCO in a prominent Special Forces division of the US Navy. He was about 6'4", built like a wrestler, obviously skilled in survival tactics, and nothing ever rattled him. He was home on leave, and we went out hunting as it was deer season. I remember him coming in the house and just shaking and crying and saying that he saw something in the woods. My uncle, he never cried. I mean, he was as tough as nails and would tear someone to shreds before he'd let them make him cry. My grandmother tried to get him to make sense, but he just kept saying that he saw Bigfoot mixed with a wolf. My granny immediately got my grandfather, and he rounded up the rest of the guys hunting. My dad, a few male cousins, and my uncle, who was still terrified but went because he didn't want to be labelled a chicken, and they got all their shotguns and ammunitions and saddled the horses to clear the woods. Apparently, they were aware of this dog man, but I was blissfully young and ignorant at the time. They told me to stay inside, and for no reason was I to step outside of the house until they returned. I had never heard my dad and grandfather so serious, so I just hid in my room. Sunset comes and they still aren't back. I'm really worried at this point because they've never stayed in the woods until after dark. Shortly after, though, I heard the sound of horses running to the barn and their voices, and man, was I relieved. They looked troubled, though, when they came into the house, but didn't say anything, probably to not spook me. At dinner, though, my dad laid down the law, and I was no longer allowed to play outside or go to the barns alone. I had to have my grandfather with me at all times. Of course, I was upset by this and felt my independence was being taken away from me, but I obeyed. The next morning, my dad and grandfather taught me how to shoot, and after that, I knew it was pretty serious. I actually overheard the adults talking the next night too. Apparently, there were tracks where my uncle had his sighting of this wolf thing, and there were definitely dog tracks. As I said before, we're avid outdoorsmen and hunters, and we can definitely identify tracks easy, but this one, it was difficult to identify. and about 8 foot up in a tree were these claw marks. No Michigan bear could make those, and we also found claw marks of about the same height on multiple trees throughout our property. Had cattle mutilated, and not in the way a coyote or bear would, and it lasted that whole winter. We actually lost about 30 to 40 cattle that winter, and all of them were mutilated. All with the same wolf dog tracks in the snow, too. I really feel like this experience kind of changed my uncle. He did multiple tours in the Middle East for Desert Storm and Operation Iraqi Freedom before he, took his own life. But after that experience, he was just never the same. He went from not ever drinking to never seeing him without a bottle of Jack, and his eyes were always haunted. He changed his personality and never went out in the woods again. He quit hunting, and he eventually just quit coming home to visit on leave. He didn't even come home for my dad's funeral 2 years later. Honestly, it was heartbreaking to see him deteriorate the way that he did. And I truly believe that he saw something out there, and ultimately, it did kill him.
Wow. What do you guys think of that one? I found that one on an obscure little board somewhere, and I thought it was a really strange, interesting, good one, but boy, is it weird. Any of you guys from Michigan? Have you guys ever heard of this thing of, like, the dog man? If that's what it's even called. Like, have you guys heard of that? Let me get this poll up for you guys. Alright. So, remember, guys. 1 being not so creepy. 5 being the creepiest story you've ever heard. Here it is. Here's the poll. You guys can vote. Poll is in chat. What do you guys think of that one, though? If anyone here is from Michigan, I'd love to hear if you've heard of that before. Hey, baby, do you pronounce asphalt really as asphalt? Like you do? What? Asphalt. You know what? I'm going to vote on that one too. Alright, here is the vote, guys. You guys tell me. So a lot of you guys have voted for that one. That's interesting. I thought it was... Oh, so you're from West Michigan, Stephen, and you've heard of that. Wow, okay. So is that like a like an urban legend or something around your neck of the woods? It's not just Michigan? Where else is that kind of urban legend from? Have other people heard from that? And where are you guys from, and have you guys heard of that before? From Michigan, Mason, have you heard it? Have you heard the about the dog man? Because I know in the States there's lots of little urban legends, like there's the Jersey Devil, there's all sorts of things, and maybe this is just another one of them. Ohio, New York, Indiana, Pennsylvania, and you've heard of it in Pennsylvania? Okay. Wow, a lot of you guys have heard of it. Wow, that's interesting. Do you think it's a skinwalker, like a skinwalker story? Or is it something different? Because, like, dogman / skinwalker could be two different things, right? Arizona. Need more deep web stories? Blue Kingdom. He'll be moist. I gotta find them, man. Deep web stories are hard to find. You know what I was thinking, though? There's a lot of guys that do deep web exploration videos online, and man, they find some really strange things. And I was going to ask for permission maybe to do like a compilation video of all their best stuff. I don't know. That could be a cool video. Albuquerque, New Mexico, we heard a lot about the skinwalkers. Yeah, so it's something different. Okay, Ali, you think it's something different? Yeah, I've never heard of... I don't think I've ever heard of the Dogman before. I've heard of skinwalkers, but not the Dogman. Bunny has a dog man in her house. That's her, like, boyfriend, man. Hiking forums, ATV explorers, fishing forums. Yeah, cool. Alright. So you guys have voted like a hard 3.5, I would say. Pretty convincingly 3.5 there. You know what's really kind of weird about that story is the fact that the guy deteriorated so much after he had this experience. Do you think that's just a coincidence, or do you think it has potentially something to do with this, alleged sighting kind of thing? I mean, maybe the guy thought he was going crazy or something. I don't know. What do you guys think? UFOs freak me out. Jeff's wife. Aliens freak me out, man. You have a dog but not a man. I'm not going to say it, but it's kind of depressing. No, I'm just joking. I love you. Do I believe in the paranormal? Yeah, like I'm open to the idea for sure. For sure, open to the idea. I've actually studied a lot of philosophy, and through my study I kind of came to the conclusion that it's kind of impossible to say either way. So I'm definitely open to the idea. Aliens freak me out too. Like Slendy, it's just in your head. Yeah, like Slender Man. I don't know, it's strange that, I mean, he obviously went, he was in action, like he went over to some pretty hardcore fights, and I'm sure that had a massive effect on the dude too. But yeah, weird Bigfoot. Yeah, Bigfoot stories, that's interesting. It could have been like, who knows, maybe Bigfoot have claws. I don't think anyone's ever really seen one up close and personal, so Busta, can you pronounce, what the hell is that? Scheveningen. I don't even know. It's Dutch. I know. What does it mean? Do woods. They freak me out. Glitches. Yeah, I haven't done glitches in the Matrix. I've never done a glitches in the Matrix video. Some of those stories can be pretty creepy too. All right. I'm going to get the next story going. Here we go.
A little while back, I decided that I needed to get back out there and start trying to meet people. Not necessarily actively looking for a relationship or anything, but meeting people at the bars it wasn't working for me, so, as most single college girls do, I downloaded a dating app. I met a lot of people and talked to them online, and it gave me the confidence to try and actually go out on a date every now and then. I didn't meet up with many of these guys in person, but there were a few. Most didn't lead to a second date, but there was one that was worse than the rest. I met this guy, Alex, and we made plans to go out to dinner. He said that he wanted to take me to this nice restaurant in the town between us, but when the day came, he never answered his phone. The next day, he contacts me with a story about getting stuck at work and forgetting his phone at home. Whatever. Excuses, and I wasn't really buying it, but he asked to reschedule. And stupidly enough, I said yes. So, the day comes and he tells me to meet him at his house, and he'll drive us to the restaurant that he made reservations at. He said to come hungry like 3 times and kept reminding me not to eat beforehand. I guess this place has big plates or something. Now, I don't really like meeting people for the first time at their home or getting into their car, but we'd been talking for over a week, so I figured what the hell. But when I got close, he calls and tells me to park in the parking lot down the road. Weird, but okay. A small driveway, I guess, or something. The trouble is, I never told him what kind of car I drove, but he pulled into the parking lot right behind me and texted saying that he was parked 2 spots down from me. And that was red flag number 1. So I get in his car, against my better judgment, and we start heading for the restaurant. Now, I didn't know where we were exactly, and I'm not really familiar with the town, but I know the restaurant that we were heading to, and it shouldn't have been more than like 10 minutes away on a major highway. But almost 25 minutes later, we're driving down some dark back road, so I looked at him and said, "Hey, where the hell are we going anyway?" And he proceeded to tell me that he hadn't told me the full story.
This is such a dodgy
Apparently,
story.
when he called to make reservations, it took 3 times of calling before they actually answered. And when someone finally did answer, they told him that they had moved locations and given him a description of where they were now located, like an intersection or something. My stomach dropped when I realized that we had passed that intersection probably 5 minutes before this point, and I realized that he didn't have an address punched into his GPS, even though the GPS was running. Obviously, that was red flag number 2. So I pulled up my GPS, punched in the name of the restaurant, and it said the business was closed for the day. Red flag number 3. At this point, yeah, I know I was being stupid, but I stayed and we hung out and talked and got to know each other. Still, the way he went about things was really creepy. When he couldn't find the restaurant, he just kind of said, "Don't worry, I know a place that we can go," and drove farther into the darkness, eventually pulling over to a trail in the woods and told me that we had to walk the rest of the way.
Okay, I gotta stop here. Like, tell me, guys. By now, right? You would have left, right? By now, you would have just been like, "I'm out of here," right? It gets crazier too. Like, this story seems insane to me, and like, I think it's true because it's so just crazy. You know, like, who the hell would do this? Like, I don't know. Anyway, sorry, I had to interrupt because this whole story just seems crazy to me.
He said that we were going to go stargazing, and the spot was beautiful and all, but the whole way through the woods to the clearing, he just kept cracking jokes about how he swore that he wasn't a serial killer or something, and telling me to promise that I wasn't going to steal his keys and take the car and leave him there. Red flag number 4. I'm not sure how to explain this, but through half the night, he just kept lying to me. He would tell me these big, elaborate, detailed stories and then suddenly end with, "Just kidding, that never happened." It was funny the first time when he tried to convince me that he got so drunk one night at college that he got his penis pierced. But after 2 hours of this shit, I realized he had been just kidding about almost everything that he'd said. I realized that I didn't even really know any true thing about this guy. Red flag number 5. And yes, I know I'm an idiot. We were talking about going to watch a movie at his house at some point, and he was all for it. But then, apparently changed his mind and pulled the car over in front of a park suddenly on the way back. He said that he'd rather stay here, and he kept trying to dare me to run through the park naked and ask me weirdly sexual, personal questions. Like, about specific experiences. Not even general thoughts or preferences or anything, but actual experiences. And suddenly, he demanded to know if I was going to kiss him or not before the night was over, and said that he wanted to put on chapstick first. This guy literally made me dig through my purse, looking for chapstick, while he sat in the driver's seat making a big show of licking his lips and trying to subtly rub himself through his pants. I told him that I didn't have any chapstick, so he said that that was fine, but why don't you crawl on over here and show me what you got? Cue patting his lap. I told him that I wasn't comfortable with that, and he then proceeded to reach around me and try to drag me into his lap, using my butt as leverage. I told him again that I had no intention of sleeping with him or anyone on a first date, and he began to say that that was fine, but how about a little minute or two of a preview? A cue dragging my hand onto his lap. That was obviously the final red flag, and sirens are going off in my head now. I got mad at this point. This was after he'd spent days telling me how much he hates men who try to force themselves upon women, and how he doesn't understand how anyone could do that, let alone get pleasure from it. This, after he said that he didn't want to sit too close to me while we were stargazing, so he didn't make me feel uncomfortable too. It was honestly like a switch had flipped or something. I told him that trying to force me wasn't going to make me any more likely to agree, and that I thought that he was supposed to be a gentleman and all, like he'd been telling me all the night that he was. He told me that he thought that I was scared of how big it was, and if I didn't want to, do anything with it, there were other options. Again, he tries to grab my hand. I told him again that this wasn't going to happen, and he pouted about it. I was racking my brain, trying to think of an excuse to get him to drive me back to my car when he pulled out his phone, opened a text message thread, and then looks at me and says that he got a text from his uncle that he lived with, saying that something had happened at the house and he needed to get home ASAP. Obviously, I'm done at this point, regardless, but I hate being lied to. If you weren't having a good time, you could have just asked to call it a night. Why lie? Why make up false intentions and then deliberately act the exact opposite way of what you said? Just why? But to make things worse, he dropped me off at my car in a dark parking lot at midnight and then just drove off before I had even walked to my car. Obviously, there was not going to be a second date with this guy. But the kicker is that I drove by the old location of the restaurant a few days ago, and it had never moved. It's still open and right on the highway, and his house about 2 minutes down the road, well, that was non-existent too. So, where the hell was this guy taking me?
Oh my goodness, that story, man. Oh, it's painful to listen to. Oh, man. You know what, though? I actually think that story was real. You know why I think it's real? Because no one would make that shit up. Like, it's just so... I don't even know what to say about it. It's just crazy. It's a derp story. Like, it's just... I cannot believe that she friggin'... It takes her 5 red flags, and like by the time you get to, let's go out into this deep dark forest and go for a little walk, even though I was supposed to take you to a restaurant. Let's go out to this deep dark forest. And by the way, just so you know, I'm not a serial killer, I promise. What the hell? As soon as he said that, I'd be gone, man. I would have just legged it. Gone. Oh man. I think I think it's real, though. I honestly think it's real. And the reason why I think it's real is because it's just something you wouldn't make up. Like, I mean, there's just so much craziness to it. And, like, if you're going to make up a story, surely you'd make up something better than that. Like, that seems real. Oh, man. I don't know. I'm going to let you guys vote on it, though, because I want to get your guys' opinion on it, man, because... Oh, that's just crazy. Crazy stuff. I mean, if it is real, that woman, man, she needs to like, oh, hang on, I'm going to vote. She needs to get with it. She needs to get with it, man. I do think it's real, though. Hella frustrating story. Thing is, like, people do stuff like that, hey. Like, they just don't, like, get it, you know what I mean? Like, they don't pick up on those warning signals, and and some people are intimidated by, the scenario that they're in, and so they kind of freeze up almost, and so they don't confront the person. But she seemed, like, because at one stage in the story she says, "Where are you taking me?" kind of thing. So that's like, shows an ability to be confrontational, right? So, I don't know, man. That bit, man, where he's like, you're just scared because it's so big. Oh, man. Oh. Who is this guy? I want to meet him. Quick shout out to Miranda. I think I've pronounced that right. Hey B, been watching your videos for over a year now. I love your scary stories. By the way, you're going to see the Slender Man movie. I didn't even know that there was going to be a Slender Man movie, so I'll have to check that out. Blue Rooster, this good old polite society. Yeah, something like that, man. Oh, man. Alright, so I think you guys have voted. Let's have a look. Wow, some of you got... What? There's a massive divide on this story. What's going on, guys? Some of you have said 4, some of you have said 1. Wow. That's probably the most divided story we've had so far. That's interesting. Okay, so for you guys who voted 4, is it the fact that you think it's so crazy that it's real that you voted for? And for you guys who voted 1, did you vote 1 because you think, oh, that's got to be fake? I'd just like to know. Is that the reason why you guys are voting that way? Not scary? Okay. There should be a stupid choice in the poll. No, there's no stupid choice. It wasn't scary. It's got to be fake, yeah. I think some of you guys think like it's probably fake, and some of you guys are thinking, well, it's just crazy enough that it might just be true. And if it is true, it is kind of creepy. It was kind of funny. It was a little bit funny. Oh. Imagine bringing that guy home to your parents. Oh, boy. No offense taken. I'm pretty easygoing, I am. I don't even know how to pronounce your name. It's all in capitals and friggin' lowercase, mate. Fake, I guess. No vote 1 because she's a... Come on, guys. Go easy. Go easy. These guys are giving their stories, okay? Go easy. Go easy, guys. Don't be sorry. Don't be sorry. I am Daenerys. I think that's how I pronounce it. I am Modernary or something. I don't know, man. I'm just going to call you I am. Because she's stupid and desperate for that pierced penis. You guys, man. You guys are ruthless. You guys are ruthless. You guys are worse than I am. Alright. That's enough of that. Alright, we're going on to the next story.
So this happened when I was about 5 years old. I have 6 siblings, a big fat Greek family, and we lived in a normal safe suburban area in the Midwest. My mum had always drilled into my head and my siblings' heads not to talk to strangers, especially adult strangers. She would always say if an adult is ever asking anything from a child, something is probably wrong. Anyway, I was playing outside with my older sister. She would have been 7 at the time. Our house was on a corner, so we had the main road and then the road leading into the neighborhood. We had just got our first family dog, and she was a beagle, so she was tiny, and we had her tied up to one of our trees. I remember being by the puppy and playing with her by myself for a little bit, and at that point, she was only about a month or 2 old. A gold sedan pulled up along the road, leading into the neighborhood, and a grown man got out, probably in his mid-30s, and he called out to me, and it went like this. "Hey, that's my dog." No it's not. This is our dog. Her name is Corky." "No, really, that's my dog. I lost her, and I've been looking everywhere for her. Come here, I have a picture of my dog, and I'll show you, and you can see that it's mine." I distinctly remember taking 2 steps forward and then all sorts of alarms started going off and I couldn't say anything. At this point, my sister had noticed too and came over and was standing beside me as I was just shaking my head no to the man. My brother had been in charge of babysitting my sister and I and must have heard the conversation from inside because he ran outside and started yelling at the guy, asking if there was a fucking problem. At that point, the man got in his car real quick and sped off. I always wondered just how different my life would be today if I had been too naive of what horrible things adults are capable of back then. So, I'm super grateful to my big brother who saved my ass that day and to my mum who made me paranoid and for good reasons.
Okay, guys. So, that story is very short and very succinct. I think it's quite creepy, but I'm not going to let you guys vote on this one just yet because I'm pretty sure the next story is from the same person. And I think because the next story is from the same person, it gives you a little bit more like context into just what was going on in this person's life. So I'm going to play that first and then we'll vote. And we'll vote it as like one story so you guys can kind of get a bit more context. All right.
These events took place over a couple of months. It still haunts me to this day and is a lot of the reason why I am the way I am. A little backstory first. I have 5 siblings, 6 of us total, and when this happened, my oldest brother was 14, so I would have been 3 at the time, given that we are 11 years apart. I'm the baby of the family. This happened at a very fragile time in my parents' marriage. My dad definitely was not the best father and had actually cheated on my mother a number of times. For the record, I've asked my siblings to write this since they were older at the time, but no one has, so I'll recount it to the best of my ability. There was a lot more that happened, but I'll talk about 3 occurrences that stuck with me. I was eating something with my sister watching TV with her at night, and the rest of my siblings and my parents weren't home. We only had 1 car at the time, and my mum had to go pick up my dad and leave us at the home sometimes. I remember going into the kitchen to throw something away with my sister, and we had a big window in the kitchen and the garbage was right beside it. My sister screamed and we both noticed a man's face pressed up against the glass, looking in at us with a flashlight and smiling. My mother soon got home and we told her what had happened. She flipped out and called the cops and also told my neighbours to keep an eye out. This actually happened a number of times and it turned out to be multiple men too. And strangely enough, they always seemed to get away right before the cops got to us or right before my mum got home. I remember her cutting down the bushes in front of our house because these men would actually hide in them. I also remember them breaking one of our windows in our kitchen at one point. On a separate night, I remember being alone with my 1 brother and 1 sister closest in age to me. They would have been 4 and 6, I think. I don't know why we were alone, but I do remember it distinctly. The men, they came back and were pounding on our front door and throwing things at our windows. All 3 of us ran into my parents' room upstairs and locked the door. I remember crying with my sister, and my brother telling us not to cry and that we could pretend to be other people, brave people, so that we wouldn't be scared anymore. Surprisingly, it actually worked, and my parents got home soon after then. We were literally on lockdown at this point, and I was terrified of everyone. My brother also tells me one night that the phone rang right when my mum had left to get my dad, and he answered it, and it was one of the men, and he laughed and said, "You people are so fucking stupid," and just hung up. One of the last nights that this went on, I remember being in bed and my sister waking me up and taking me with her to the landing of our stairs. Our stairs faced our front door, and my brother was sitting on the landing pointing a shotgun at the front door, and all my siblings were huddled beside him. I didn't know what was happening, or even really what a gun was, but I knew that whatever was going down was really bad. I sat down next to my siblings, and no one talked. I remember having a stupid T-Rex toy that I was playing with, and it was as if time had stood still, but then, there it was. The man banging on our front door and yelling things outside. I don't know why or if the man had done it, but our front door was unlocked. It felt like forever when, finally, my brother spoke, and all he said was, "Come in," while pointing the shotgun. All the sound stopped, and we just sat there and waited. But no one ever came through the door. My parents got home soon after, and my dad actually caught one of these guys and beat the absolute shit out of the guy. The cops came soon after all of this and told us that they had news. Apparently, our phone lines were being tapped, and that's how the guys always knew when we were alone at the house. I don't know if the cops knew or charged any of these men with anything, and my mum doesn't like talking about it because she's a different person than she was 20 years ago. And now that I'm older, I realise that we never should have been left alone at the time. Period. But my mum was not well, and she was madly in love with my dad and was obsessed with making sure that he wasn't cheating. A lot of the time that this was going on, she wasn't picking him up. She was actually watching him at work and making sure that he wasn't cheating, all the while leaving the 6 of us alone to fend for ourselves. I realise how insanely selfish this is, but I've forgiven my mum for it. She's still with my dad, and I'm working on a better relationship with both of them at the moment. Looking back, it doesn't feel real. I mean, we found out all of this happened from a psycho bitch that my dad cheated with, who got her loser middle-aged guy friends to terrorize a bunch of children. For the record, I actually found this woman and sent her the nastiest message a few years ago when I turned 19. This stuff, it kinda keeps me up at night sometimes. I'm hyper alert to sounds and am extremely paranoid at night, especially when I'm alone. These pieces of shit impacted my life in such a way that they'll never know. But through it all, my siblings have remained really close, and my brother is a super badass for stepping up and caring for us the way he did. He still tries to this day to be our protector, though we've all grown up by now. I now realize that what's important is that none of us were hurt because, man, it could have gone so terribly wrong in so many ways. I often wonder if that guy would have come in actually, and also wonder what these loser guys are doing now that they're in their 50s. Regardless, I hope I never see them again because, honestly, I may just kill them.
Yo, I gotta say this. How badass is that big brother? He's sitting at the door with a shotgun, man. What a legend. What a legend. And he's so cool and calm. He's just like, come in. What a legend. Oh, man. What a legend. That story, though, I tell you, man. You combine that story with the last story. So I don't know if you guys remembered it, but that story of the young guy, he's in this big family of like 5 other siblings, and this random guy comes up and he's like, "Hey, that's my dog," and then he's like, "No, it's not," and then the guy's like, "Oh, well, why don't you come over here and have a look at this picture and I'll show you that it's my dog," and he kind of takes 2 steps forward, and then his older brother runs out and is like, "Is there a problem here?" Like, what a beast of a big brother, man. What a legend. What a legend. Alright, I'm going to let you guys vote. Creepy story, though, because those dudes had tapped the phones and were listening into conversations, and there was obviously some sort of sinister plot there, because apparently the dad had been sleeping around and he cheated on his wife, and then the lady that he cheated with, she obviously got jealous because he may have, like, you know, let the relationship go or whatever, and then she sends guys around and they're like trying to get their kids, man. Like, oh, that's so bad. All right, here's the poll, guys. Here's the poll. That one's actually sounds really real because it's like a jealousy thing. It's like a jealousy thing. I think it was going on there. All right, here's the vote, guys. Here's the vote. A lot of you guys are voting 4s and 5s, and brother was a badass. I agree. All right, while you guys are voting, let me catch up with these donations. Brendan Taylor with the $2. Love you, B. Keep up the streams. Thank you, man. Mary Cavazoz, I saw that message and it made me laugh. Never trust a yuppie with a puppy. Totally agree. Mvaha, I'm just going to call you MV. Appreciate the $2 and loving the streams. Thanks for being awesome. Thanks, man. Appreciate it, guys. Thank you for all the donations, guys. It's very generous of all of you. All right, so 40 votes for Brother Was a Badass. And some of you guys voted like 4 and 5, and I think I agree, guys. I personally would give that story, the combination of the stories, I would give it a 5. Just because I think it was really, sinister what was going on there, man. Stories separately, I'd give them a 4. Savannah Armstrong, love the brother story. Can't fall asleep without stories. Appreciate it too. Thank you. Thanks for the support. Yeah. So, how badass was that brother though? That older brother, man, sitting there with a shotgun. Come in, ringing the doorbell, man. All right, guys. Next story. Let's keep it rolling.
I lived in the historic district of Suffolk, VA. Not the best place, but hey, what can you do? We lived in an older Victorian-style home, and I was about 15 at the time. It was a 3-story home, about 3,000 square feet, I think. So you couldn't necessarily hear anything from the other side of the house, most of the times anyway. As you walk into the house, you see the L-shaped stairs to your right, and there's an archway right ahead of you looking into the den, and the archway to your left looks into the living room. From the top of the stairs, you could see straight down to the door in the living room. So, me and my 3 best friends, Kay, Anna, and Elle, were in a game room at the top of the stairs with my mum. It was about 10 p.m. and we spent the day at my house, and Kay, who was 17, was going to drive us all back to her house to watch her house while her mum was at her boyfriend's house overnight. I had, and rest in peace her sweet soul, a pure white German Shepherd named Angel, who was about 15 at the time. She barely ever barked and was kind of a large lapdog, if I'm honest. My mum was taking a picture of all 4 of us on the couch when we heard Angel bark, really loudly, and started to growl too. We knew immediately that something was wrong, and my mum told us to be quiet and turned off the light of the room that we were in and told us not to move off the couch, so as not to alert anything going on downstairs, if there even was anything. We immediately shut our loud teenager mouths and heard my mum going down the hallway. We then hear my mum scream, "Get the fuck out of my house, you son of a bitch." My mum is not a scared, scream your head off kind of woman, and I knew that. So I go to the hall to see my mum gripping a steak knife that she kept in the dresser right by the top of the stairs, and I hear the front door slam and thumps on my porch, and my mum runs down the stairs and turns on the security alarm, which wasn't on because we had just come in from hanging outside. My mum runs up the stairs and tells us what she saw, and it shook us all to the core. Apparently, she saw a tall man, a bandana on, a beanie on, boots, and a rope around his shoulder and arm, creeping in and starting to approach the stairs. She said she startled him and he ran out quickly, but asked us if we would stay there with her tonight as my dad was on deployment and my little brother and sister were already asleep. Kay immediately called her mum and told her what was going on, and she said that she didn't really have a problem with Kay staying back with us for a little while at least. So, whoever the hell tried to do whatever to 5 women that you knew were home alone, fuck you. And thank you to my beautiful dog. Who knows what would have happened if she didn't bark and alert us beforehand.
Doggo for the win, man. Doggo for the win. Good on you, Doggo. I thought that story was pretty creepy, guys. You know what made that story particularly creepy, though, was the fact that the guy had rope. Now, you don't bring rope into a, break-in unless you intend to use it, right? So, obviously, he was up to something very sinister, I think. And the element of surprise from the mum, I think, and the dog stopped something very bad from happening. Good on you, Doggo. Doggo saved the day. The dog. Alright, let me give you guys the poll here. What do you guys think of that one? Let me know, guys. You can vote. Oh, whoops, hang on. I didn't create it. No, ignore that first link. Sorry. Ignore the first link. Let me give you the proper one. Hang on. This second link is the one. My bad. Try again. Alright. Very creepy story, though. I personally found that one particularly creepy. I think that was not just a typical home invasion. I think that the dude probably, like the author of the story says, probably knew that they were home alone, and also probably knew that he was going to need rope. I'm guessing that he didn't realize that there were just that many women there, but probably knew that there were, maybe 3 or 4 people there, and probably thought he could, get one in a room, tie them up, get the next one or something, and then who knows where it was going to go from there. But creepy story, in my opinion. Yeah, they need an alarm system, that's for sure. How often do I live stream, Denver? At the moment, because I'm very busy, I'm just live streaming once a week, just on my Saturday, and if you're in the States, your Friday, like afternoon/night. But it could increase. Which actually brings me to a quick question that I have for you guys. I would like to know, I put a poll out recently on the community tab, but I wanted to know from you guys, would you guys like to see some other streams other than scary stories? Maybe you could just vote 1 in the chat. Just do a 1 for other streams during the week and stuff. And would any of you guys be interested in video games or anything? Or because that's what a lot of streaming is these days. It's video games and stuff. Just curious if you guys would be keen for some video games. Like, I could even play some horror games or something. I don't know. I just thought it might be kind of cool. And if you would like to see... Okay, so a lot of you guys are saying yes to some more streams. Okay, so... And if you want to see some horror games or something, or some other video games of some sort, you can do 2. So put 2 in the chat. And if you don't want to see games, put 3 in the chat. So 2 or 3. I'd like to know. And Smirks, man, with the $20. Yo, bro. That's very generous of you, man. Keep it up, brother. Never miss a video. You probably know that. Never missed any of your vids. They're the best. Hope this donation helps you. You deserve it. Thank you so much, man. I really appreciate that. That's very generous of you. $20, man. Thank you. So a lot of you guys are kind of mixed. Okay, so tell me then, for you guys who don't want to do like gaming or anything, tell me what you guys would like to see. If you're one of the people who voted 3, you don't really want gaming, you'd like something else, tell me what it is that you guys would like to see. We could do more stories. That's possible. Maybe we could do like... Here's what I was thinking, right? I was thinking the Friday nights we can do some live stories, like this, and get the new stuff coming through. Midweek, I was thinking maybe we could do some other stories from like the podcast that I do. And then maybe like one other day during the week I could get together with some of you guys and do like some gaming or something, or just hanging out. I would love to do reactions, Mary, but the problem with that is that YouTube's copyright system is so friggin' crazy that I worry that I'd get flagged for something. All the way from Israel, Shadow. Shalom. That's how I say it, right? True crime? A cooking show. Only horror games, though. Yeah, okay, so that could be a little tricky if I was only doing horror games. This first time you see me, Turtle Razor? Well, welcome, man. Welcome. You should read scary stories to tell in the dark, answering questions. Yeah, I mean, I could definitely do like a Q&A, that's for sure. More live streams. Love your creepy readings, man. Always try to keep up to date on them. Keep up the scary stuff. Thanks, man. Thanks, Tide. Appreciate that, bro. Hashtag Busta cooking. Man, you do not want to see me cook. I am like the worst cook ever. I am the worst cook ever, officially. Do I do collabs? I used to do collabs. I haven't done some for a little while now. I think just the busyness of life has kept things it's made things a little hard. I mean, I could definitely do things like a Q&A, but I can't do that all the time, right? Because you guys will run out of questions eventually. Keep doing scary stories. Smooth jazz on horror games. Busta beats. I played Res 7. That was such a good game. I'd play it again. Skits and stuff. Okay. Alright. I have to have a think about it, guys, but we could definitely do at least this much. We could definitely at least do a mid-week stream and an end-week stream. That's definitely doable. We could do that. I could possibly ask some other guys as well if I could use some of their scary stories, like use some of their videos for live streaming. I could maybe ask like Lazy, and if I can get a hold of Corpse Husband, I could ask Corpsey. I could ask Mr. Nightmare. I could ask some people if they'd be okay with it, and if they are, well then we could potentially do some other stories from other people as well. I don't know if you guys would like that. I mean, even I wonder if Rob Dyke would let us. He might. I don't know. I'd have to ask. But I wouldn't be pissed if they said no, because it is their material, and they have to make money off it. They have to make a living. So even Your Maker and Let's Read, he'd probably let me do it. I mean, it's good. It's. I guess it's just extra reach for them. I don't know. And we could even listen to some of the smaller guys potentially and give them a bit of a shout out or something. Try and help them out a bit. Yeah, I agree, Shadow. We need Corpsey back. Yeah. if you guys want to tweet at me any ideas that you have, if you're not following me on Twitter yet, you should follow me there. It should be it should be up above in the in like the little. Well, actually, it might be in the description if you're on the live stream. It could be up above in my banner as well. You should find a link there. Yeah, but that'd be cool. We could do that. So a couple of donations here. Zoil123, Busta, love you, mate, from Sheena and Zoil. And if you did a Q&A or a collab with Mortis Media, would be amazing. Yeah, we could potentially do that. Appreciate that, Zoil. $20. Very generous. Hello from Slovakia, from Kuro. Keep up the good work. Both horror games and stories from podcasts sound great. Hashtag I hate oranges. You listen to my podcast. Thanks, man. Appreciate that. That's awesome. I'm not what I imagined. You're not what I imagined you would look like. What do you think? What do you think I was gonna look like, Carly? I'd be curious. What do you guys think? Before you guys saw me on the live stream, what did you guys think I was actually gonna look like? I'd like to know. Give me a description of what you thought my voice should have been with. Dramatic fanfiction readings. Busta hunting expeditions. Some Aussie nerd. Hugh Jackman. A tall bald guy. Sinister scruffy. A bee. You're exactly what I imagined, to be honest. Okay. Like a comedian. No beard. Okay, yeah. A guy with no beard. We are beard bros. You're my beard bro. Young, super pale, no beard, and shrimpy. Blonde and scruffy. A bear. Like Ravi from iZombie. Tall, skinny, no beard. Wearing a top hat. That's a good one. Like Ed Sheeran. Really? You imagine dark hair, though. Okay. Closer to Jim Jeffries. Exactly how you pictured me. Okay. Read stories live from the woods at night. Oh, man. Oh, man. That'd be creepy. Oh, wouldn't that be a dope live stream, though? That person had a pretty cool idea. Imagine if I went camping, got my phone, had a campfire, and was able to live stream at a campfire, just talking with you guys, telling stories and stuff. That'd be dope. That'd be dope. Young, beard, shorter hair, super pale, Mr. Fedora, tall and lanky. Investigating haunted places, yeah. Live stream investigating haunted places. That'd be creepy. That'd be pretty cool. Reading stories in a graveyard alone. Oh, man. I don't know if I could do that. That'd be creepy as all hell. Dingoes ate my baby. Yes, that's a famous Australian saying. I would sure as beard as soon as I hear you spoke. I'm growing my beard, by the way, guys. I'm going to try and grow it out. I'm going to try and get it, like, epic. You know, like, real, like, you know, chunky. I want a chunky beard for wintertime. And then in the summer, I can sweat it out, mate. It's going to be good. I don't mess with Ouija boards, man. I don't. Okay, actually, before we go on, let me tell you guys a story, okay? Because the last stream I said I was going to tell you guys a story, a personal story of my own that I wanted to share with you guys. So I don't know if you guys have heard this story before. Some of you guys may have. Some of you guys may not have. It's like one of the only scary stories that I have. So, I don't know. If you've heard this story before, I'll try and make it reasonably quick, okay? And I'll try and give a little bit more detail where I haven't before. So, I used to be a child protection caseworker. And, you know, basically my job was to go and save kids from really, really bad homes and stuff. And there was this one family that I worked with and one story that I have where I went into this family's house, and the dad was actually, like manufacturing ice and stuff in the house, and he had these two little boys, and they were like sleeping in the room right next to where this, like, it was a tiny house, and they were sleeping right next to this room where this guy was manufacturing ice, and they were probably breathing it in, and it was just a really bad situation. And Dad was like, just bad news kind of thing, and we all knew that he was bad news. And anyway, I invited him up to our place to give him an interview, and I had a chat with him, and I had to ask some pretty tough questions, to try and find out what the go was. And anyway, he was just super, super cold, like no emotion, and like just everything that I've read about psychopaths, and like this guy was that, just super cold, super like manipulative, and trying to push the interview where he wanted it to go, and just really, really sinister kind of guy. And in the end, we basically said to him, like, look, you need to get your shit sorted out. So you need to leave the house for a while, because you're exposing your kids to bad stuff, and like either the kids are coming into care or you got to go, man. And you can, when you fix your shit up, and we'll help you, we'll get you help, and like we'll help you find work if you need work. We'll take you into a clinic if you need to get off something, like whatever it is, we'll give you a hand. And then all of a sudden, he just disappeared, man. He just went. He was gone. And we had the cops come over and, removed all the paraphernalia and everything. And he had like wads of cash and stuff. So obviously he was dealing and stuff like that. And just, dude was sinister. But anyway, long story short, he disappeared. And we didn't, I thought, oh, okay, he's gone. He's probably still seeing the family or whatever, sneaking in and stuff. But at least he's kind of out of the house now and whatever. But probably like 2 weeks later, maybe 3 weeks later, I got a call from my manager, and she was like, yo, don't come into the office. And I was like, what? Why? She was like, do not come back to the office. You need to just go home right now. And I was like, what the hell? Anyway, so I just went home, and then I called her back, and she was like, okay, the reason why I told you to go home was because this guy, he was in a hospital recently. Don't know why. The hospital couldn't disclose the information why, but apparently he had made threats towards me. And they weren't just like, typical threats, like, oh, I hate that guy, I'm going to bash his skull in or whatever. It was more like, yo, I know this guy comes into work at this time. I know that he has to open this gate, and I know where I can hide, and I'm going to jump out of the bushes, and I'm going to shoot him, or I'm going to stab him, or whatever it was, and it was really particular, which is like a dead giveaway that the guy was dead serious. And this guy had a massive criminal history and just like was so sinister. And anyway, so I went off and like worked at a different office for a while, and like, didn't hear from him again, and he just disappeared and went off the radar. And then like probably 2 weeks later, I'm talking with like police and stuff, and they're like, yeah, this guy's been on our radar for a long time, and he's involved in like a Vietnamese cartel. And I was like, holy shit, like this guy was the real deal, man. He was a full-on proper gangster, like dealing, and like had apparently hurt people, and like really, really sinister guy. And he had threatened to friggin' kill me. And not only that, but he was just a cold as ice dude, man. Cold as ice. And he was like there 1 minute, and then over the next 2 weeks, his family and him just up and disappeared. And we have no idea where they went. We have no idea if they went back to like Vietnam. We have no idea if they just stayed or just moved somewhere. No idea where they went. They just disappeared. And so for like the next year when I was working there, I eventually left obviously, but for the next year when I was working there, man, every day I was looking over my shoulder just thinking, oh shit, I've got to keep myself safe, man. And like I'd watch my rearview mirror when I was driving home, and it was so like just scary, man. It was really, really scary. It was a really troubling time for me. And I'd go to the supermarket and I'd be looking around going, oh shit, is he going to jump out from a shelf or something? Like, who knows, man. But that was probably one of the creepiest times that I've ever had when I was working as a social worker, man. That is a tough job, I tell ya. Whew. I haven't spoken about that for a long time. Every time I speak about it, man, I get a little bit sweaty. Because it's just like, it's just one of those like moments in your life where, you know, I could have died. I legit could have been killed. Like, the guy was sinister enough to kill me. I think he'd been in jail a few times before for like stabbing people and stuff. So, guy was legit. Yeah, glad you're still here with us. So am I, man. All right, let me quickly get to these donations, guys, and then we'll continue the stories. Okay, I don't want to hold it up too much longer. B-Buster, love you, mate. Oh, I've already read that one. Jackie. Yo, Jackie, thanks for the $5. Appreciate that. Smirks with another 5. Do in the woods, that would be great. Or tape it and then do a live stream of it, maybe getting what I... Yeah, I know what you mean, yeah. Yeah, possibly. I remember when you posted this story before, I was going to ask if you had any more. Which story are you talking about? Oh, the my story that I just told then. Yeah, sure. Yeah. Surely, I think there was a couple more. Hang on, let me just double check. I thought there was a couple more donations. There was one more. Blue Rooster. No, that was the one that I just read. Okay, cool. So we're ready to keep going, guys. We're almost there, guys. Hang in there. We're almost there. We're up to story 9. I think there's 11, so we're almost there. All right. Let's keep it rolling. Thanks for listening to my stories as well, guys. And thanks for all the love. Appreciate that.
So this just happened a few days ago, and I'm extremely shaken up by it. But some backstory. I live on the second floor of a 3-level apartment. We have a crawl space that connects all the apartments, and we aren't sure why it's there, but we have all this stuff in it, and none of us would ever even attempt to go inside of it, so we felt that it was pretty safe. The other night, the sun was setting, but it wasn't pitch black out or anything yet. I'm walking through the living room when I see a short woman on my fire escape, looking into my windows. This is obviously extremely bizarre, considering that it's still semi-light out and she had to literally get out onto our fire escape somehow. We have 2 windows that the fire escape reaches, and she was looking in both, but didn't see me. I quickly crawled onto the ground, and my heart was racing as I watched her try to open the windows. I didn't know what the hell to do because my phone was in the other room. But after what felt like an eternity, she finally left. I went into my room to get my phone to text my landlord and call the cops, and I came back into the living room and was looking at the windows to see if I could locate her when, all of a sudden, I hear a weird noise coming from my ceiling. We have one of those tile ceilings made out of separate slabs of cork and wood. I look up to see one of the slabs lifted up and 2 eyes staring at me. I have no idea how she got into the crawl space so quickly, but I grabbed the nearest thing next to me, which was a broom, and started hitting her with it through the ceiling and called the cops as soon as she crawled away. They showed up and searched the place and didn't find her until a few days later when she was on somebody else's fire escape. The cops said that she was definitely on some kind of hard drug and that she was actually violent towards them. So, I don't know if I escaped something or if it was a near miss, but man, when I saw her eyes up in the ceiling like that, it was freaky.
Alright, so another little short one there. There's a couple of little short ones towards the end here that I think are pretty creepy. What do you guys think of that one? Let me create the poll. I thought that was pretty creepy, that one. The fact that she was potentially dangerous. Let me put this in. I just wonder how she got in the crawl space. Like, how did she get in there? Are there, like, is it common for access points to be, like, on the outside of, unit blocks in the States? Is that a common thing? Let me show you guys a live feed. Oh, wow. A lot of you guys are voting this one really high. It is kind of creepy, though, because you think she was obviously on something, and she got into the crawl space and was like in her roof. Imagine that for a second. Just someone in your roof in those little like tile ceilings just peels one back and just staring at you like, oh man, that's creepy. That's real creepy. So a lot of you guys are voting like 4, 3. Yeah, like 4, 3, and 5. Mostly 4s, though. Depends on the building, but not uncommon. Okay. Because in Australia, I don't think we have things like that here. Most things are like all locked off. Unless it's like a really, really old building. Then it's kind of possible, I guess. It'd be like that sometimes. Something similar to that happened to your parents, Serena. Oh, man. That's creepy. Were you one of the people who's had someone living in your like attic or your basement or something? Let me ask you guys a question actually. Have any of you guys had someone living in your house before? Anyone here in the chat had someone living in their house before that you didn't know were living in there, like in a basement or a crawl space? That's got to be one of my worst nightmares, man. That would freak me the hell out. I've got this like under part of my house. And I've a couple of times heard noises down there, and I was like, oh shit, is someone under my house, man? I've been listening to too many scary stories. And I went out there with a torch and like looked under there, and there was no one there. But, oh, the legend. Yes, the legend. You have to send me that story in, man. I hope not. Yeah, same here. You and me both. Wow, I did not pick you being an Aussie. Really? You didn't pick that up from my accent? I wish I did. Really? Steven, really? You want someone to live in your basement, man, that you don't know is there? Could be on high on drugs or something. And dangerous. Get really paranoid and start thinking about the stories I've heard. Yeah, I've started doing that lately too, Xena. My friend had someone in their treehouse. Then basement when it got cold. Oh, wow, up in a treehouse. I didn't even think of that. That's smart from the person. It was probably just a homeless person, yeah? I'm an odd person. Fair enough. Fair enough, Stephen. Woke up to a guy sleeping in my room in my house and he broke in and went to the bed. Really? Man. My father has dealt with squatters. He thinks they should be allowed to live in someone's house, even if someone lives there, as long as they don't hurt anyone. Wow. That's it's quite a liberal view there, mate. Jeez. Why do you even have a crawl space? Crawl spaces are creepy, aren't they? I agree, Log Dog. I wouldn't own a crawl space. I'd fill it in or something. That's just... Ugh. It was a homeless guy who was smoking cigs in their basement. Yeah, okay. Up in a treehouse, though. That's kind of sneaky. Imagine your kid going up there getting the shock of their life, man. Never found the guy in my friend's attic. They just found his stuff. Yeah, wow. So it's pretty common then. It's pretty common for people to experience stuff like this. Maybe I'm just one of the lucky ones that's never had it happen. I had a woman jump over my fence once when I was out the back. And I was like, hi. How you going? And apparently she was like running away from some domestic dispute or something. And I was like, oh, look, technically you're trespassing, but are you all right? And she literally just bolted, just like jumped over the next fence and then bolted off. It was kind of weird. She actually dropped a Medicare card, so I got a name and everything. And I actually have a police officer for a next door neighbor, and I was like, "Wouldn't jump over that fence." But she just left. crawl space is usually for maintenance. Yeah, okay. Is that what they were originally designed for? I think they were. Yeah, it was kind of weird. It was a real strange experience, the person that jumped over my fence. Alright. Next story. Let's keep it rolling, guys. Let me get this out of the way. Alright, next story.
This happened 4 years back. I was about 14 years old, and my parents were out and had left me and my little sister, at 10 at the time, home alone. It was about 10 or 11 p.m. when the lights go out. And this used to happen sometimes in my country, since it's kind of a new country and it's really poor here. But that time, I noticed something out of the ordinary. Only the lights in our house were out, and my neighbours, their lights were on. I had a bad feeling, so I quickly locked all the doors and closed the blinds. I told my sister to hide behind the couch and not to go out whatever happened. I hid somewhere else with a knife and tried to call my mum, but she didn't pick up, so I just sat there and waited. After sitting there for a while, I thought it was over, so I get out of my hiding place and head to the kitchen, where we had the back door to look out the window. Before I get close, I hear the doorknob turning. It doesn't work, so the person on the other side tries it again, now violently. And that's when I panicked, and I shouted, "Who the fuck are you? Get the fuck out of my house. I've called the police." I hear quick footsteps and then nothing. I went to the other room and looked out the window, and I saw someone running out of my backyard. My sister was crying, so I comforted her while we still stayed hid until my parents came home after an hour. We told them everything, and my dad said that whoever that was, he had intentionally cut the house's electricity to scare us or something. To this day, every time the electricity goes out, I still get kind of scared, and I'm glad that we're all okay.
Alright, so that's another little one, and we finish with a bigger one. So, there is a bigger one coming. What did you guys think of that one, though? I thought that was pretty creepy. I'd like to get your opinion. So, on a scale of 1 to 5, guys, 1 to 5, 1 being it is not so scary, to 5 being, oh, this was probably one of the scariest things I've ever heard. Tell me. I think it was pretty scary that the guy, like, obviously it was a targeted and like a well-designed kind of break-in, and because the guy had cut the lights and everything. But I'd like to get your opinion, guys. You guys tell me. And then we'll finish up this scary story video with one last big one. It goes for about 6 minutes. So the next one you can settle in for a little bit. Like I said, there was lots of little stories in this one, which I know kind of breaks the flow and stuff a little bit, but I felt like they were pretty good little stories, a lot of them. What do you guys think about this week's story so far? I think they've been on the creep factor. They've been around, the 3, 4s, and 5s. I think, apart from the first one. The first one had a little bit of creepiness to it, but it was more just like I was just curious what you guys would think, and so I threw it in there. It's fairly good so far. Okay, cool. Okay, so a lot of you guys are voting 3. Some of you guys are voting 4. Okay. Yeah, I would give it probably a 3 as well, guys. I'd give that a 3. You've enjoyed them all? That's good. Like the stories? Good. That's awesome. All right. I'm not gonna postpone this any longer. Let's get this scary story video done so that we can chat. All right, guys. Thanks for all the votes as well, guys. Let's do it.
Growing up, every summer in July and August, My family would get together and camp out for 2 weeks at White Lake State Park in Tamworth, NH. Some of my best childhood memories were actually made there. Rollerblading, Nerf gun wars, flashlight tag, and water balloon fights with my cousins and neighbouring kids in the campground made it excellent. When I was around my late teen years, my family stopped gathering together to camp out after my grandmother passed away. One of the last years that I was there, this one particular memory has always stuck with me. A little over 10 years ago, I was 16 years old. It was around 10 p.m. at night when I noticed I had missed a call on my cheap little track phone. My family was sitting around the campfire cooking s'mores and sharing some laughs, so I decided to go off for some privacy to return the call. I took a long narrow trail that winds in between other campsites that, at the end, leads up to the bathroom. I was going up to the bathroom and I just wanted to find an empty campsite and sit at a picnic table to make my call. There were plenty of those, since this whole side of the campground where I was heading was vacant. But there were no other campers in the nearby area, and it was pretty dark, so I chose a campsite and I sat down at the table. The lights from the distant bathroom from up on top of the hill behind me were illuminating my surroundings just a little bit. I called my friend and was carrying on a conversation for about 20 minutes, and as I'm sitting there, staring straight ahead, I see a silhouette coming down the road in front of me. The figure was coming in my direction, where all those empty campsites were. I could see it was a person, and it's not that unusual to see people strolling through the campground for a night walk or anything. The people I see, though, usually have flashlights, and this person didn't. I wasn't creeped out at this point. I mean, there was no reason to be, but I was just watching curiously. As the person got closer, I could see a better outline and that it was a man that I was looking at. I also noticed his pace slowed down a little bit. I kept my eyes fixated on him as I continued conversing on my cell phone, and a minute or two passes. And now, he stopped moving. He's just standing there in the road, looking straight into the campsite where I'm at. I don't know if he knew that I could see him, and he was staring in my direction, and I think that I was staring right back at him. He was a little heavy-set and tall, and I could also make out that he was wearing a light jacket. I couldn't see much in the way of facial features, but I would guess that I was staring at a man in his 30s or 40s maybe. Alarm bells were going off in my head now, and my mind had turned to mush at this point. I was frozen, and I was no longer listening to what my friend was saying on the phone. I was in a stare-off with this guy, and then he started to move again. But this time, he was tiptoeing towards me, really carefully, like he didn't want to make any noise. He put one foot in front of the other, leaned forward in a slight hunch form, and it looked like he was about to charge towards me or something. In that moment, I snapped out of that mind-mushy frozen state and leaped off the picnic table and started running through the campsite back towards the trail. I could actually hear him trampling behind me, leaves scuffling in heavy yet fast footsteps, and the footsteps were getting louder and closer. I made it back to the narrow trail, and once he got close, I heard the sound of twigs snapping and a oof noise that came from the man, which I imagine maybe he tripped or almost tripped, or maybe he got face-slapped by a tree branch or something. Most likely, he wasn't familiar with the trail like I was, but whatever the reason, it caused him to stop chasing after me. I didn't stop to look back, and I just kept running and running and running until I made it back to my family's campsite. When I got back, they were still sharing laughs and smiles by the campfire, and I broke down crying and was trembling. I explained what had just happened, and my aunt spoke up and said he probably thought that he knew you and was coming up to give you a good scare as a joke or something. She just totally dismissed me, in other words. My cousin chimed in and said, yeah, he probably stopped running after he realised that he didn't actually know you. He probably feels dumb now. And they all chuckle about it and change the subject. I think I was dismissed because no one wanted the good vibes of the night to be ruined, and the fact that I'm just a socially anxious person in general kind of let them dismiss me, I guess. I'm very cautious and shy, and for that time being, I let them convince me that I was just overreacting and overthinking. But here I am years later, looking back and just shaking my head over this. I do wish that I was taken seriously, but other than that one thing happening, it was still a good trip. My experience makes me think twice about going for a walk by myself anywhere these days, and I carry pepper spray and a mini keychain alarm on me now. Anyway, I don't know what this guy was up to, but it sure was fishy, given that he was alone in a campsite with nobody else there and was obviously trying to sneak up on me. I'm just glad that I can run pretty quickly.
So guys, what did you guys think? What did you guys think? That's the end of the video. What did you guys think of that last story? I'm curious to get your thoughts. Alright, let me get some music going here, guys. Let me get you into here. And let me put on some chill music so we can kick back and chat like lads. Let me get this poll up as well, guys, so you guys can vote on that last story. What do you guys think of that last story? I thought, dude was obviously up to something sinister. I thought it was pretty creepy. I think it was creepy because, I mean, chick is out, middle of nowhere, random guy shows up, and is like, he mustn't have seen her, hey, because he must have not been able to, must have been able to just see a silhouette but not actually see her, because the fact that he tiptoes towards her, it's like, what the hell, man? She's obviously looking at you, so he mustn't have been able to see her, and he thought that he was still invisible to her and was trying to sneak up on her or whatever to grab her and have his way with her or something. But yeah, let me go show you the thing here. So a lot of you guys, voting for. See, I felt like this was one of the more creepy stories because I felt like it was the person was very vulnerable, off in the middle of nowhere, in a campsite that's deserted. You know, it's a dangerous scenario. And then not only that, but she gets back, and how's her friends, mate? Her bloody mates are just like, oh no, mate, you just friggin', it was old mate back in bloody the other campsite trying to say g'day. It's like, piss off. Some dude just chased her, man. I'd be out there with a shotgun at this point. Yes, a lot of you guys are saying 4, 3. Cool. Okay. Thanks for the voting today, guys. I feel like this voting system is really helpful for me in particular because it kind of helps me to get a feel for you guys, what you guys, feel is creepy and what you don't. One that surprised me actually was that one about the girl who went on the date. You guys were pretty split on that. Let me turn the donations back on. Let me get the speech to text back on for you guys, so you guys can talk to me if you wish. All right, there we go. Yeah, that story about that girl. Man, I can't get over it. It's just such a strange story. So strange. Let's not even bother with that dating story again. Complete mess. Yeah, I know, right? But what drives a person to... Because, you hear stories about dating things that go wrong. A lot of girls, they go date some random guy and he ends up being an absolute creep and, you know, something bad happens, you know, what, like, I imagine if most women, if they were in that scenario, they'd be gone in a heartbeat, you know, like, it's just, it's fishy, and it's, you'd pick up on that stuff, and she was picking up on it, she just wasn't doing anything about it. Anyway, let's not get into that, man. That story. Oh boy. So yeah, guys. Any update on the Texas stuff from anyone? Any update? What's the go with that at the moment? By the way, guys, thank you guys so much for all the donations today. You guys have been so generous. It's been amazing. Thank you, guys. Let's talk a little bit more as well about doing some other live streams. Nothing new on my feed. Yeah, okay. Called the guy last I heard. Okay. Yeah. I'm going to try and keep up with that. I want to find out what happens. The unfortunate thing is every time this happens, the political arena just goes crazy. You guys in the States, man. You guys need to talk. You guys need to learn how to talk, I tell ya. Need to talk to each other. Two-sentence horror story competition. That'd be kind of cool. That's a cool idea. What was in Texas, Chris? There was a shooting, man. A really bad one. School shooting. Really bad. What's up, Donna? You're in the States and you talk? That's good. Bit more like smirks, everyone. When was it? It was, I'm not too sure what time it was in the States, but a few hours back now, I think. We're in the States at Doom. No, you're not. You're not. That's the thing. You guys can get it together, man. You guys are leading the world. You guys are leading the world. You guys have got to get together somehow and figure this shit out. We need you guys, man. Explosions or explosives. They found the guy. There's pictures now. Oh, wow. It was early. Okay. So it's been... The stories have been around for a little while now. Definitely agree. I'm from Boston, MA. The reason nothing gets done is no one wants to talk, man. I know. It's one... You know what it is? It's conflict resolution, guys. It's conflict. Nobody knows how to have fair fights anymore. Everyone's just screaming at each other. You guys need to talk it out, man, and just listen. Let's find a way to listen to each other a little bit more, and then you guys will be good, man. You guys will be fine after that. Try and find compromises, you know? I don't know. It's just something about America at the moment, man. You guys are so polarized in so many ways. So polarized. You guys need to find a way to talk again, man. Like, I'm not sitting on either side of the political fence. I hate politics, but you guys need to find a way to talk, man. Otherwise, you guys are going to destroy yourselves. No worries, I am. Take care, bro. Thanks for stopping by. Yeah, the shooting happened in the morning, Nauru. Yeah, it was a bad one too, I think. The States, man, you guys don't need my help, bro. Oh, man, you guys need to figure this out. Yeah, it was today, Jackie. It was today. By the way, guys, quick question. So YouTube is rolling out this sponsor thing. Now, I put a poll up recently, and a lot of you guys said you guys would be willing to sponsor and stuff, but be curious, how many of you guys here who are watching the live streams would be keen to sponsor if I get a sponsor button soon? It's $5 a month, I think. The reason why I ask is because I don't want to try and put anything behind a paywall in the sense of like put like scary stories or anything behind a paywall. But I don't know. I was thinking maybe I could do like an exclusive.
Immigration like to Australia and trying to leave.
I'll tell you in a sec, Blue. Yeah, I'd just be keen to kind of like find out how many of you guys would be keen to give, to sponsor and throw $5 a month at me, because maybe I could like do like a live stream or something like that's particular to you guys. Obviously I'll keep doing live streams like this for everyone, but maybe I could do like a more exclusive one, where we could just kind of hang out or something. I don't know. Just, would you guys be interested in that, or do you guys just prefer to just have it open like this? Just, it can be hard to get to all the questions is all. And, as this grows, it'll get even trickier. So, yeah, just curious to find out. Yeah, so Blue Rooster, man. Getting into Australia can be a bit tricky these days, if I'm being honest. But, man, if you can deal with horrible spiders, horrible snakes, crocodiles, great whites and friggin' insects and shit that can kill you in your sleep, then mate, come on down. You'll be right. Yeah, you guys would like that? You'd like both? Yeah, okay. Okay, cool. If we could donate. That's the thing, Wonderlust. The sponsor button thing, I think at the moment is only for $5. Which is kind of, I don't know, it's kind of sucky. I wish they had more options, because a lot of people can't give like $5, but they might be able to give like $3 or something, and maybe there could be different perks or something that YouTube could give them for like a $3 one or a $5, or maybe there could be like a $20 one for people who can afford that. I don't know. Yo, Steven, thanks for the 2. Appreciate it, man. And thanks for the sweet convo. Appreciate it, man. Kangaroos boxing you to death. Exactly, man. There's so many things that here that can kill you. Where I live as well, there's the brown snakes, and oh man, they're nasty buggers, man. And the box jellyfish, yep. Blue ring octopus, you guys know it all. You guys obviously know about it all. You love snakes? You'd probably be alright here then. None of worse than someone trying to shoot you. Yeah, I guess so. You might have a point there, Blue. Hate politics, yeah, man. I wish politics was more. I wish people could like sit down and talk about it more, because it's a really interesting topic to have a discussion about. It's just people get so just like crazy, like. I just wish people could chill out a little bit and have a discussion, and then it'd be a pretty interesting and chill discussion, I reckon. What's your favorite snake, Shana? What's your favorite snake? Don't let it be rude, okay? Let's not get rude up in the house, all right? Live in Australia, I haven't even been stung by a bee. Wow, you're doing all right, Isabel. You're doing all right. Yeah, so heated in there. Exactly, Naru. Skinwalker Stories, piece of sheet. I love that name, by the way. I'm looking for them. They're hard to find. They're rare. Skinwalker Stories are rare. The Black Mamba. The Black Mamba. The Black Mamba isn't even that poisonous compared to Australian snakes. But it's a cool snake. I'll give you that. Hard when people here are so passionate about their stupid opinions. Maybe. But this is the thing, right? Even if somebody else has a stupid opinion, it's so important that you don't say that to them. And you're just like, oh, yeah, really? That's interesting. Oh, wow, yes. You try and be diplomatic about it so that they feel heard. And then, the only way you're going to change minds is if you listen well and give people space to express themselves, and then try and change their mind. Other than that, man, America's gonna self-destruct, I'm telling you. Barasaka. Oh man, that is an epic story, Brandon. That's a lot of work. That's a lot of work. I could do it though. think a lot of people have heard it though, and I think that's challenging when people have heard a whole story. Pretty sure Brassica's quite full on too. It's got a lot of really sinister stuff in it, yeah? I haven't read it for a long time, so... Alien encounters? Some great quotes in the making, B. Oh, the other cool thing as well about sponsor stuff as well, guys, is if you do end up sponsoring, if I ever get this damn sponsor button, I'll be able to put like emojis in and stuff so that you guys can put little emojis in the chat, and you'll get a badge next to your name as well so that I can kind of see you, and you know, I see you, and then I'll respond hopefully a little bit better to you guys who sponsor and stuff. Just give you a little bit of, just a little bit of preferential treatment, you know. You guys are on the inner circle. 50-Foot Ant is a fantastic series, horrifying and huge, but worth the time. Oh, I gotta ask you guys a question. Okay, so a lot of you guys are obviously horror buffs. Tell me, guys, good movies to watch. I've got this week coming up. I've got a really busy week, and I'm going to try and stream on Saturday, but I don't know if I will be able to because we've got a lot of stuff going on, like having a baby and all. So probably next Saturday I won't be able to stream, but probably the Saturday after I will be, and then that week I'm gonna have like a not a week off, but like it's gonna be a much slower week. So I'm gonna try and catch some movies and stuff. Yeah, so horror movies, guys, scary movies. Yeah, the donation is $5. That's right, Pirate. Yeah. I love zombie flicks. Train to Busan? Is it Busan? Alright, I'm gonna... Hang on, let me put this on a Word document. Okay, I'm gonna write these down, guys, because I wanna know. I wanna know the goods. Give me the goods, guys. Give me the goods. Okay, so the Busan... Was it the Busan house? It's an Asian flick. Okay. I don't think I've ever heard of that one before. Train to Busan. Okay. Train to Busan. Someone said Babadook. I've been, yeah. Gonna check that out. I Am Legend. I liked that movie too. Sinister. Veronica. The Grudge. I've seen The Grudge. That's pretty good. It's Korean. Okay, cool. So it's in another language, right? So I have to have caps. I have to have subtitles and stuff. Yeah. The Witch. I loved The Witch, Zoe. I loved that. It was so good. I really loved the ending to that. Dead Alive. Okay, let me... So Dead Alive. Someone wrote Sinister. Grave Encounters. Let me write all these down. I'm going to check these guys out. Lights Out. I haven't seen that. It was pretty... It got a lot of push from media and stuff a little while ago, didn't it? Drag Me to Hell. I really like thrillers as well. So if you guys have got good thrillers... So like... I would classify like The Silence of the Lambs as kind of like a horror / semi-thriller kind of show. I loved that. So if you guys got any recommendations for that, man... I'm keen. Evil Dead is another one that's there. The Shrine. The Quiet Place. Isn't there a new one out? Is that the new one? What's it called? It's like one about monsters that can hear you, and if you stay silent, they can't get to you. But as soon as you make noise, Shutter Island was fantastic. I've seen that one. Demon House. Someone's wrote that a few times now. I'll check it out, Shana. The Fourth Kind. Is that the alien one? Don't Breathe. Yeah, that's a good one. I gotta check that one out for sure. The Descent. Yeah, The Fourth Kind is the alien one. I have seen that. That was that was creepy, man. The Fourth Kind was good. Ruins. Yeah. Psychological thrillers. Oculus. Okay. Oculus. I'll check it out. Martyrs. Alaska Alien. Any of the Saw movies, yeah. I've seen a few of those. Grabbers is a good campy Irish horror. Grabbers. The Gift. Anastasia, I see you. The Gift is good. The Last Exorcism. I don't think I've seen that one. I've seen The Exorcist, and I've seen The Exorcism of Emily Rose, but I don't think I've seen The Last Exorcism. Did you know The Exorcist is actually apparently based off of a true story? The first one? I didn't know that until recently. See, okay, Stephen, I love the idea of the Blair Witch, but the friggin' film, man, it gives me motion sickness, bro. It's so bad. Blood Creek. Have you guys seen Wolf Creek? That's a creepy movie. Insidious. Devil's Pass. Postmortem, Cabin in the Woods. Alaska Aliens was about The Fourth Kind. Okay. Yeah, they don't keep the camera steady. That's it, man. Yeah, that's right, Mary. The Exorcist was originally about a boy. Yeah. Creepy. Oh, The Conjuring and The Conjuring 2 were great. Loved those. Wolf Creek's one of my favorites too. Yeah. Mama. Although it wasn't that scary. Okay. Paranormal Activity movies. Yes, asking for movie recommendations. Ju N. The new Blair Witch. There's a new one? What's the new one called? A Quiet Place. That's the new one. A Quiet Place. Yeah. I think someone said The Quiet Place earlier. It comes at night. Yeah, I've got that at the moment. I'm going to watch that probably today at some stage. Exorcist, I have bad feelings with the filming. Yeah, Reincarnation. It's Japanese. Okay. Put that on the list. House of 1,000 Corpses. Sounds tasty. Split was really good. What's up, Rochelle? Welcome. We're just about to finish up though, Rochelle. You caught us at the tail end. It's on Netflix. The Ring. I've seen The Ring. It's good. The B movie. Get out of here, Zoe. What the hell? Death Silence. Gotta go. No worries, Xena. Take care. Spliced. I gotta check that out. What was that one about the guy who had split personalities? I haven't seen that yet. Wolf Creek about Ivan Milat, right? How close are you from that area? Blue? Not too far away, actually. Creepy. Creepy. Ivan Milat. He was a very bad dude. That's Split. Okay, so not
right, how close are you for that area?
Not spliced, but split. Yeah, not too far, Blue. I really want to see Split. Alright, guys. I think I'm going to end it up there. Thank you guys so much for joining in today. It was awesome to see so many of you guys come back. It's been a real pleasure. Thank you guys for hanging out. And like I said, guys, next week, I don't know if I'll be streaming because we might have a baby by then. So, but the following week, I should be on. So we can catch up for some more scary stories and hang out. But yeah, guys, thank you guys so much for hanging out. I hope you guys enjoyed the stories and hope you guys had fun. And this is really cool. I'm really enjoying doing these live streams, guys. It's been really fun. It's really cool to kind of listen to things together and talk about them and stuff. And it's been really good. Thank you guys for all the congrats as well for the baby boy. I'll keep you guys posted. If you don't follow me on Twitter, guys, so that I can keep you guys posted on that. And yeah, guys, I hope you guys have a great night. If you're in Texas, stay safe. All my love to you guys in Texas. And yeah, guys, it's been good. All right, take care, guys. Have a good night. And I will see you guys probably not next week, but the week after. All right, take care, guys. Have a good night. Bye.